beloved soul, before the cosmos breathed its first breath, and before the celestial bodies found their eternal dance across the infinite expanse of creation, you were selected with deliberate, passionate, divine intention. This selection was not random, casual, or an afterthought in the grand scheme of existence. It was a profound act of love that established your sacred place in creation's magnificent design. Long before time began its endless march, before the first star ignited in the darkness of space, before the oceans carved their paths across virgin earth, your name was already written in the book of eternity. Your existence carries purpose that transcends mere survival or ordinary living. You were destined to flourish magnificently, to radiate divine light that illuminates every corner of darkness, and to be enveloped in unconditional, everlasting love that knows no boundaries or limitations. There exists no flaw in your divine blueprint, no imperfection that could diminish the sacred purpose embedded within your very essence. Every fiber of your being, every breath you take, every heartbeat that pulses through your veins carries the signature of divine intentionality. You are not an accident of cosmic chance, but a masterpiece carefully crafted by hands that shaped galaxies and breathed life into stars. The divine sees every aspect of your being with perfect clarity. The hidden fears you carry in the secret chambers of your heart, the dreams you whisper only in the silence of night, the heartbreak that sometimes feels overwhelming and insurmountable. Yet with infinite patience that spans eternity and unwavering compassion that never diminishes, the message remains clear and unchanging. You are chosen for goodness, for blessing, for divine purpose that cannot be shaken by circumstances or defeated by challenges. This divine selection stands firm, like ancient mountain roots that have weathered countless storms, unshakable through every hurricane of doubt, every tempest of despair that may attempt to uproot your faith. Even in your darkest moments, when you feel invisible to the world, unworthy of love, or completely abandoned by hope itself, this cosmic choice remains absolute, unchanging, and eternally secure. The unique radiance of your divine heritage. You carry within yourself a unique radiance, not one meant to compete with the sun's brilliant glory or dazzle observers with overwhelming brightness, but a gentle, consistent flame that no darkness can extinguish, no storm can blow out, no enemy can overcome. This inner light represents your divine heritage, your unbreakable connection to the source of all creation, the very essence of love itself. This light that burns within you is not dependent on your circumstances, your achievements, your failures, or the opinions of others. It is an eternal flame that was lit before you were born and will continue burning long after your earthly journey ends. It is the light of divine love, divine purpose, divine calling that marks you as chosen, as beloved, as eternally significant in the great tapestry of existence. When the world seems dark and overwhelming, when shadows seem to close in from every direction, when despair threatens to engulf your spirit, remember this sacred truth. You are a carrier of divine light. No force in heaven or earth can extinguish what the divine has ignited within you. This light is your inheritance, your birthright, your eternal gift that connects you to the very heart of creation. Overcoming the deceptive whispers of inadequacy. The world around you may attempt to convince you otherwise through persistent whispers of inadequacy that echo in the corridors of your mind. These lies come through scars from painful experiences that have left their mark upon your soul, through the heavy burden of regret that weighs down your spirit, through past mistakes that seem to define your worth and value. These destructive forces will press against your spirit like relentless waves against a shore, trying to persuade you that you have been forgotten by love, discarded by hope, or worse, destined for suffering, failure, and eternal disappointment. They will tell you that your dreams are too big, your worth too small, your past too dark, your future too uncertain. However, hear this truth with absolute clarity. Let it penetrate every doubt, every fear, every lie that has taken residence in your heart. The divine sees the complete tapestry of your life, every thread shining with sacred purpose, every color contributing to a masterpiece that will one day be revealed in all its glory. You were not chosen for bondage or despair, but for freedom that liberates your soul and continuous renewal that refreshes your spirit daily. The goodness marked upon your heart from the moment of your creation has not diminished with time, has not faded through trials, has not been erased by mistakes. It only grows stronger, brighter, more beautiful as you draw closer to divine love, as you learn to see yourself through the eyes of infinite compassion rather than the harsh judgment of a broken world. The divine presence is not distant or detached from your journey, sitting aloof in heavenly realms while you struggle alone on earth. There is intimate, personal, passionate involvement in every aspect of your existence, watching over both your days of joy and your nights of sorrow, celebrating your victories and comforting you in your defeats. The gentle voice of divine comfort. When your spirit falters under the weight of life's challenges, when your strength fails and your courage wavers, divine hands are there to catch you before you fall into the abyss of despair. When your heart carries burdens too heavy for human shoulders and questions echo endlessly in the silent corners of your mind, divine truth whispers life into your weary soul, breathing hope into places where hope seemed lost forever. Divine presence doesn't always manifest through thunder that shakes the earth or overwhelming revelation that blinds the eyes. Sometimes it arrives as the still, small voice that opens windows of peace where despair once reigned supreme, that brings calm to chaos, that speaks hope into hopelessness. Trust this gentle voice. It is the sound of your Creator, holding you close in perfect love, never letting go, never giving up, never losing faith in who you are and who you are becoming. This voice speaks a language that transcends words, communicates through feelings, impressions, sudden moments of clarity that cut through confusion like light-piercing darkness. It is the voice that reminds you of your worth when the world declares you worthless, that speaks of your beauty when others see only flaws, that proclaims your purpose when life seems meaningless. Learn to recognize this voice above all others. It is the voice of truth in a world filled with lies, the voice of love in a world often ruled by fear, the voice of hope in a world that often breeds despair. This voice has been speaking to you since before you were born, will continue speaking to you throughout your life, and will echo in eternity long after your earthly journey ends. Embracing your sacred story without fear. Do not fear your personal story, even when it appears tangled with confusion, marked by pain, stained with regret, or incomplete in ways that leave you feeling broken and unworthy. Every chapter of your life, even the difficult ones, even the ones you wish you could rewrite, carries divine purpose and sacred meaning that will one day be revealed. The very fact that you can feel the ache of disappointment, the sting of failure, the weight of sorrow, means you possess a heartbeat fashioned with eternal hope, a soul created for something far greater than the temporary pain you may be experiencing. You were not chosen for defeat. You were chosen for triumph that even death cannot silence, for victory that transcends every earthly circumstance. Your story is still being written, still unfolding, still revealing new chapters that will surprise you with their beauty, their purpose, their contribution to the greater narrative of divine love working in the world. The painful chapters are not the end of your story. They are the soil from which something beautiful will grow, the foundation upon which something magnificent will be built. Remember the seeds planted in the quiet soil of your heart by divine hands that never make mistakes. Though these seeds often lie hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear, buried under disappointment and discouragement, they remain alive with divine potential, waiting for the perfect moment to burst forth in beauty and grace that will astonish even you. These seeds carry within them everything needed for your flourishing: the DNA of divine purpose, the blueprint of divine calling, the potential for divine glory to be manifested through your unique life. They are seeds of hope, seeds of healing, seeds of transformation that will one day produce fruit that nourishes not only your own soul, but the souls of countless others whose lives you will touch. Your path to divine fulfillment. Your chosen path is not a maze without exit, not a labyrinth designed to confuse and frustrate, but a journey toward the fullness of life that has been prepared specifically for you from the foundation of the world. Every step, even the difficult ones, even the ones that seem to lead backward, is moving you toward your divine destiny. The divine vision for your life surpasses the limits of earthly understanding, transcends human wisdom, goes beyond what any counselor or advisor could imagine for you. You are seen through eyes of infinite love, as radiant light among many, a beacon that illuminates shadows not only for yourself, but for those around you, whose lives intersect with yours in ways both seen and unseen. Your presence in this world is not accidental or insignificant. Your voice carries divine resonance that can speak hope into hopeless situations. Your acts of love and courage, no matter how small they may seem to you, create ripples through eternity like stones skipping across a still lake's surface, bringing hope to places where darkness once seemed to reign unchallenged. These ripples of divine love flowing through your life touch hearts you may never know about, heal wounds you may never see, inspire courage in souls you may never meet. Your life is interconnected with countless other lives in ways that form a beautiful web of divine purpose. Each thread essential, each connection meaningful, each relationship carrying eternal significance. Even your smallest, most sincere steps of faith align perfectly with the grand divine design that encompasses all of creation. You are integral to a story so magnificent that it stretches beyond the cosmos itself, so beautiful that it makes angels weep with joy, so powerful that it can transform the darkest heart and heal the deepest wound, the divine seal of belonging. In moments when you question your place in this vast universe, when you wonder if your life matters, when you feel lost in the crowd of humanity, know with absolute certainty that you have been marked with a divine seal, not visible to the human eye, but imprinted deep within your essence with the permanence of eternity. This spiritual signature proclaims to all of creation that you belong to divine love, that you matter beyond comprehension, that you are cherished beyond all measure by the one who created galaxies with a word and knows every star by name. This seal cannot be removed by failure, cannot be erased by sin, cannot be invalidated by the opinions of others. It is a mark of ownership that declares you are not your own, but you belong to love itself. It is a mark of protection that ensures you will never be truly abandoned or forgotten. It is a mark of destiny that guarantees your life will fulfill its divine purpose, regardless of the obstacles you may face. This divine seal is your spiritual passport, your eternal identification, your unshakable security in a world that often feels insecure and uncertain. It grants you access to divine presence, divine resources, divine strength that can sustain you through any trial and lift you above any circumstance. The freedom of unconditional divine love. Sometimes the world tempts you to believe the lie that you must earn this love through good behavior, that you must perform perfectly to grasp divine approval, that you must work tirelessly to maintain divine favor. But this is not the divine way. This is not how eternal love operates. You were chosen freely, lavishly, unconditionally, not because of what you accomplish or fail to accomplish, but because of who you are in the heart of divine love. A precious child, a beloved creation, a treasured soul whose worth was established before you took your first breath. No accomplishment, no matter how great, can add to this truth. No failure, no matter how devastating, can subtract from it. This love is not performance-based but relationship-based, not earned but given, not temporary but eternal. Let this truth settle deep within your spirit like living water that refreshes every dry place, like healing oil that soothes every wound. The goodness envisioned for you is not merely a future possibility hanging in the distance like a carrot on a stick. It is your present reality, available now, active now, working in your life now. It pulses in every breath you take, flows through every heartbeat that beats with divine purpose and grace, surrounds you like the very air you breathe. Your story is being crafted by divine hands far beyond the trials you endure today, far beyond the temporary setbacks that sometimes discourage you, far beyond the apparent obstacles that seem to block your path. Through every setback and moment of doubt, miracles are being worked in unseen realms, preparing blessings and strength you cannot yet comprehend, orchestrating divine appointments you cannot yet imagine. The inexhaustible nature of divine goodness. The goodness decreed in your life is inexhaustible, flowing from a source that never runs dry, boundless as the heavens themselves, as constant as the rising and setting of the sun. This goodness is not dependent on economic conditions, political circumstances, social trends, or personal feelings. It flows from the very nature of divine love, which is unchanging, unlimited, and eternally abundant. This divine goodness manifests in countless ways, through unexpected blessings that surprise you with their timing and magnitude, through divine appointments that bring exactly the right people into your life at exactly the right moment, through open doors that appear just when you need them most, through provision that comes from sources you never expected. But divine goodness is not limited to material blessings or external circumstances. It works primarily in the internal realm of your heart and spirit, transforming you from the inside out, healing old wounds, breaking destructive patterns, planting new dreams, nurturing hidden potentials, developing character qualities that will serve you throughout eternity. This goodness is patient with your growth process, gentle with your weaknesses, faithful despite your inconsistencies. It never gives up on you, never loses hope in you, never stops believing in the person you are becoming under divine influence and grace. Walking through life's shadows with divine companionship. The journey ahead may sometimes feel daunting, overwhelming, too difficult for your human strength to endure. The shadows of past mistakes may seem to follow you like persistent ghosts, and the pressures of present struggles may cast long and heavy darkness over your path, making it difficult to see clearly or walk confidently. But divine presence walks with you through every shadow. Steadfast when you waver, unyielding when you feel weak, tender when you feel broken. This love does not flinch at your failures or waver because of your weaknesses. It serves as both an impregnable fortress that protects you from enemy attacks and a peaceful refuge where you can find rest for your weary soul. Do not allow the enemy of your soul to plant seeds of despair or confusion in the fertile soil of your heart, where divine promises are meant to grow and flourish. Do not let discouragement take root where hope should bloom, or let fear overshadow the faith that is your birthright as a child of divine love. You are chosen for goodness, marked for blessing, destined for victory, and every step you take falls under the protective umbrella of divine care that shields you from harm and guides you toward your glorious destiny. This protection is not passive but active, not distant but immediate, not temporary but eternal. The sacred invitation to divine rest. Are you willing to rest in this reality today? Are you ready to release the exhausting burden of trying to earn what has already been freely given? Can you open your heart fully to the certainty that you have been chosen not for mere existence or meaningless survival, but for a life drenched in divine blessings and goodness that exceed your wildest dreams? Let this be the moment where doubt begins to lose its strangling grip on your soul, where you lean fully into unfathomable grace and find the true rest that your spirit has been seeking. This rest is not laziness or passivity, but the deep peace that comes from knowing you are loved, valued, protected, and guided by infinite wisdom and unlimited power. This rest allows you to stop striving in your own strength and start flowing in divine strength. It frees you from the pressure to prove your worth and allows you to simply receive the love that has always been yours. It transforms anxiety into trust, fear into faith, desperation into quiet confidence. In this place of rest, you discover that you were made on purpose, for a purpose, and you are deeply loved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are, a unique, irreplaceable, eternally significant child of divine love. The weight of hidden burdens and divine understanding. The divine sees with perfect clarity the weight you carry within your soul, the invisible burdens that press heavily upon your heart like stones in a backpack, those silent struggles that wear down your spirit without relief, that drain your energy and steal your joy. These burdens may be guilt from past mistakes, worry about future uncertainties, pain from broken relationships, disappointment from unfulfilled dreams, or simply the accumulated weight of living in a broken world. Divine presence is not distant from your pain, not removed from your struggle, not indifferent to your suffering. Instead, divine love remains near in the stillness where no one else dares to look, in the secret places where you hide your deepest wounds, in the quiet moments where you wrestle with questions that have no easy answers. There is perfect understanding for the ache that seems to have no name, for the loneliness that persists even in crowds, for the shame that whispers lies about your worth, for the relentless battles that shake your confidence and make you question everything you once believed about yourself and your future. You may have felt as if you walk alone through these shadows, abandoned by hope, forgotten by love, left to navigate the darkness with only your own inadequate strength. But divine presence is here, has always been here, will always be here, never having turned away even for a moment, never having lost sight of you, even in your darkest hour. The sacred tension between promise and reality. Even in your moments of deepest despair, there exists a sacred tension within you, one that reflects the clash between divine promises spoken over your life from eternity and the difficult reality you are currently facing in time. Your heart may seem divided, torn between trust and doubt, between divine peace and the storms raging within, between hope and fear. This tension is not a sign of spiritual failure or weak faith. It is a fragile doorway, a sacred invitation to look fully into divine presence and find your true rest. It is the space where transformation happens, where character is formed, where shallow faith becomes deep trust, where human weakness meets divine strength. This tension is temporary, not permanent. It is a bridge, not a destination. It is part of the process, not the final outcome. Divine love is patient with this tension, understanding with this struggle, gentle with this wrestling that takes place in the secret chambers of your heart. In this place of tension, divine presence waits with infinite patience, with open hands and unwavering love, ready to guide your trembling steps out of the labyrinth of fear and confusion and into the freedom that has already been secured for you through divine love and sacrifice. The patient, gentle process of divine healing. Sometimes the healing you seek arrives not as a sudden burst of light that instantly transforms everything, but through quiet, persistent unfolding that happens gradually, gently, like the slow but certain coming of dawn. Divine love is not in a hurry with your healing process. There is patience with your pace, understanding of your struggles, gentleness with your resistance. The very fabric of your heart is being reshaped by loving hands, peeling away layers of hurt and misunderstanding one by one, with the care of a master craftsman who values what is being restored. Each ache you carry is precious to divine love, held tenderly, not because there is delight in your pain, but because of what it produces when surrendered. Deeper resilience, clearer vision, and trust refined by the fires of adversity. This healing process cannot be rushed or forced. It unfolds according to divine timing, which is always perfect, even when it seems slow to human understanding. You need not rush this process or feel guilty about how long it takes. Patience is a gift extended to you, a sacred space where growth occurs beneath the surface, like seeds germinating in dark soil. Rest in this time of healing, knowing that all things are being woven together for your good, by hands that never make mistakes, by a heart that loves you perfectly, by a mind that sees the end from the beginning and knows exactly what you need for complete restoration. Divine love serves as the shepherd who does not abandon the lost lamb, but searches until it is found, who does not give up on the wandering sheep, but patiently calls it back to safety. Divine love is the gentle physician who heals the brokenhearted with infinite skill and tender care, who binds up wounds with perfect knowledge of what will bring true healing, the unshakable foundation of divine character. Divine love is also the rock that holds firm when the earth beneath you shakes, when circumstances shift like sand, when everything you thought was secure suddenly seems uncertain. This rock is not just strong, it is immovable, not just reliable, it is absolutely dependable. Not just helpful, it is completely sufficient for every need you will ever have. Your wounds have not disqualified you from divine love. Instead, they have made you a canvas upon which the masterpiece of redemption is painted in colors more beautiful than any earthly artwork. Every scar tells a story of divine grace. Every healed wound bears witness to divine power. Every restored area of your life demonstrates divine faithfulness. When you feel unworthy or overwhelmed by your failures, when guilt and shame attempt to convince you that you are beyond hope or help, remember the unchanging nature of divine love. This love is not based on your performance, but flows from divine character, not dependent on your perfection, but rooted in divine faithfulness. Guilt and shame may try to cloak you in darkness, whispering lies about your identity and worth, but divine light pierces even the thickest night, scatters every shadow, exposes every lie, and reveals the truth of who you really are. Beloved, valuable, forgiven, restored, and destined for greatness. The transformative journey of divine forgiveness. With every step you take toward divine love, divine presence is there, ready to embrace your trembling heart with arms that will never let you go. You are not defined by the struggles that have marked you, the mistakes you regret, the failures that haunt you, or the disappointments that discourage you. You are beloved beyond comprehension, valued beyond measure, and your story is far from over. Divine purpose has been breathed into your life, a purpose that fear cannot extinguish, circumstances cannot derail, enemy attacks cannot destroy. This purpose is woven into the very fabric of your being, written into your spiritual DNA, guaranteed by divine promise. Divine faithfulness does not waver, even when yours does. When anxiety whispers lies that you are alone or powerless, when depression tries to convince you that nothing will ever change, when fear attempts to paralyze you with worst-case scenarios, remember that divine love serves as your unwavering refuge, your constant source of strength and hope. Nothing escapes divine notice. Not one tear you shed in private, not one silent cry for help, not one moment you falter or feel like giving up. Every struggle is seen, every pain is felt, every need is known by the one who loves you with everlasting love. Divine forgiveness flows like a gentle stream that brings life to dry lands, that restores vigor to your worn spirit, that plants seeds of hope in places thought barren and lifeless. This forgiveness is not a distant ideal that you must strive to attain, but a living wellspring bubbling up within you as you surrender your guilt and shame, the cleansing power of divine grace. This forgiveness flows freely from divine heart to yours, cleansing every stain, renewing every damaged area, restoring every broken place. Like refreshing rain that paints life over drought-stricken landscapes, divine forgiveness restores vitality to your worn spirit and plants seeds of hope in the most unlikely places. Let this truth settle deep within the core of your being. You are worthy of forgiveness, not because of what you have done or haven't done, but because of how you were created, as beloved creation, redeemed by love, cherished forever by the one who knew you before you were born. There exists in divine heart a tender love that yearns to forgive every fault and declare, without shame or hesitation, you are accepted, you are welcomed, you are embraced exactly as you are. Divine gaze rests on you, not with condemnation that criticizes and condemns, but with profound compassion and genuine joy that celebrates your return to love. This love rejoices over you with singing, celebrates your existence with divine pleasure, delights in your uniqueness with parental pride. Whenever you feel the sting of shame, the weight of guilt, the burden of regret, close your eyes and rest in the knowledge that your transgressions have already been covered by divine mercy. No failure, no matter how spectacular, can overshadow the grandeur of divine love. No mistake, no matter how devastating, can diminish your value in divine eyes. No sin, no matter how shameful, can separate you from the love that gave everything to restore you to wholeness. The divine invitation to freedom. You are invited now to release your past into divine hands, to feel the chains of guilt fall away as you embrace the freedom offered to you as a gift. This freedom is not licensed to continue in destructive patterns, but liberation, to become the person you were always meant to be. Sometimes divine love allows moments of conviction, not as harsh judgment designed to crush you, but as gentle correction that flows from fierce love and desire for your growth. This correction comes not to break you into pieces, but to build you into the fullness of who you were created to be. The healing that follows forgiveness is not always immediate. It's often a journey of restoration that unfolds day by day, step by step, moment by moment. Trust in the process, even when you cannot see the path clearly, even when progress seems slow, even when setbacks occur. Divine grace is sufficient for you in every situation, and divine power is made perfect in your weakness. When you are tempted to believe that your faults define you, that your past determines your future, that your mistakes are too great for redemption, remember this truth. Divine love is the potter, and you are clay in divine hands. Though the clay may be marred and misshapen by life's pressures and your own poor choices, in skilled divine touch, it is reshaped and formed anew. No rupture is too deep, no scar too permanent, no damage too extensive for divine love to heal completely and restore beautifully. The ongoing work of divine transformation. Through forgiveness, you are being continuously remade, continuously transformed, continuously renewed. The pieces that seem broken are being reassembled into a work of divine purpose and infinite value. Old things are passing away, and new things are coming into being within you. This transformation is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process that will continue throughout your life and into eternity. Every day brings new opportunities for growth, new chances for healing, new possibilities for becoming more like the person divine love sees when divine eyes look at you. Do not allow shame to rob you of the joy of divine presence. Do not let guilt keep you from approaching divine love with confidence. Do not permit regret to steal the peace that belongs to you as a child of divine grace. Come boldly before divine love, not with fear that cringes and hides, but with confidence in the power of forgiveness offered to you freely and completely. Let your heart become a shrine of grace, where divine mercy dwells richly, where peace flows constantly, where joy bubbles up like a spring that never runs dry. When the enemy whispers lies of condemnation, when guilt tries to drag you back into bondage, when shame attempts to convince you that you are beyond hope, wield the sword of divine truth and remember your true identity as beloved child, washed clean and made whole, the sanctuary of divine acceptance. There is complete freedom in divine forgiveness, and it awaits you now, here in divine arms that long to hold you close. You are invited to lean into this forgiveness with your whole heart, to let it wash over all the places where you have felt unworthy or less than whole. Will you believe this truth this time? Will you accept the gift of restoration being poured out for you like precious oil, like healing balm, like living water that satisfies every thirst? With each breath, allow divine love to heal the wounds that guilt has inflicted, and step into the bright light of divine acceptance. This is not the end of your story, but a glorious new beginning, written by the hand that built the heavens and formed you with infinite care and boundless love. If the ache of shame has cloaked your spirit for too long, bringing darkness where there should be light, bring it to divine love now. Lay it at divine feet and feel the gentle power of forgiveness rise to fill the empty spaces, making you radiant once more with the light of divine love. You are not alone in this journey of healing and restoration. Divine love walks beside you with endless patience and overflowing joy for every step you take toward wholeness. Divine mercy will never fail you, will never be exhausted, will never be insufficient for your need. Divine love will never leave you, will never abandon you, will never give up on you. Divine power to forgive will never be exhausted, will never reach its limit, will never be inadequate for your situation. Conquering fear through divine courage. There are seasons in your life when fear and doubt become unwelcome shadows that cling too closely, obscuring the divine light placed within you like clouds blocking the sun. These moments feel like violent storms raging within your soul, an internal tempest of what if and I'm not enough that threatens to overwhelm your peace and steal your hope. These fears are recognized and understood as part of the fragile human condition, natural responses to living in an uncertain world, normal reactions to facing unknown futures. Yet they do not define you, do not control you, do not have the final say in your destiny. You were created with courage that can rise beneath the weight of every anxious thought, strength that can emerge even when you feel weakest, faith that can shine even in the darkest circumstances. You may not feel brave, and that's perfectly acceptable. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the quiet voice that whispers in the dark. You will not be consumed, you will not be defeated, you will not be overcome. When fear tightens its grip around your heart like a vice, when anxiety makes your breath shallow and your hands tremble, remember that it is divine breath that gives life to your being, and divine power is made perfect in your weakness. You are not left to face these feelings alone, or with only your own limited resources, the steady anchor of divine presence. Divine presence is not distant, sitting far away in heavenly realms, but serves as the strength that steadies your heart when it trembles, the peace that calms your mind when it races, the hope that sustains your spirit when it falters. Sometimes anxiety settles in because you are leaning on your own understanding instead of trusting in unfailing divine wisdom. Sometimes fear grows because you are trying to control outcomes instead of resting in divine sovereignty. Sometimes worry persists because you are focusing on problems instead of focusing on the problem solver. Divine love serves as the unshakable rock beneath shifting sands of circumstance, the immovable foundation when everything else seems uncertain. Consider the birds soaring without worry about tomorrow's provision, the lilies clothed in beauty without toiling for their appearance. Can you not see that all creation is cared for with tenderness far greater than you allow yourself to feel or experience? Your worries do not escape divine notice. Every tear you cry is collected. Every silent fear you harbor is precious to divine love. Every anxious thought you think is known and understood. There is no alarm at your doubts, no impatience with your struggles. There is only movement of infinite compassion at your willingness to bring them into divine light. When shadows crowd your thoughts like gathering storm clouds, do not retreat into silence where fear can echo and multiply. Instead, bring your anxieties openly into divine presence, like a child running to a loving parent. Speak the troubling questions aloud, voice the concerns that keep you awake at night, and let divine peace, which surpasses human understanding, calm your spirit like a gentle tide washing over stormy shores. The community of courage in divine love. You are not alone in this battle with fear. Many hearts have walked this path before you. Many souls have faced similar struggles. Many spirits have wrestled with comparable doubts. Divine presence has journeyed with each one, offering hope when their courage faltered, providing strength when their faith wavered, bringing peace when their minds were troubled. Surrender is not defeat in this battle. It is the doorway into divine strength, the pathway to divine peace, the entrance to divine victory. Fear feeds on isolation, grows in silence, multiplies in loneliness. But you were made for intimacy with divine love, created for connection with divine heart, designed for fellowship with divine spirit. As you draw near to divine love, as you learn to rest in divine presence, as you practice trusting in divine faithfulness, you will find that the uncertainty that once paralyzed you begins to loosen its grip. The fears that once controlled your thoughts begin to lose their power. The anxiety that once stole your peace begins to fade like darkness before approaching dawn. Faith is not the absence of fear, but the choice to trust divine love despite the fear, to believe divine promises despite the circumstances, to hope in divine goodness despite the evidence of your senses. Divine love for you is not contingent on your feelings or dependent on your fears. It is eternal and unchanging, constant and reliable, absolutely trustworthy, the sacred space of divine refuge. Let this truth settle within the chambers of your heart like healing medicine, like living water, like nourishing bread. Your fears are invitations to deeper trust. Your anxieties are opportunities for greater faith. Your doubts are doorways to stronger confidence in divine love. When you feel overwhelmed by life's pressures and demands, lean into the quiet spaces, where divine presence waits patiently, like a loving friend, like a caring parent, like a faithful companion. There you are safe from every storm, protected from every enemy, sheltered from every harm. The noise of anxiety will not drown out the gentle sound of divine voice, assuring you with words of love. You are mine, and I will never leave you. You belong to me, and I will never abandon you. You are precious to me, and I will never forget you. Even when the night feels endless and hope seems dim, when problems seem insurmountable and solutions appear impossible, divine light still shines upon your path, like a lamp to your feet and a light to your way. The way forward may seem hidden from your human perspective, but each step before you is illuminated by divine wisdom. You do not walk blind through life's challenges. You walk guided by divine love that sees the end from the beginning, that knows every obstacle before you encounter it, that has already prepared the way for your victory. Even when the path is unclear to your natural vision, divine guidance envelops you like a protective cloak, like a warm embrace, like a safe haven. The transformative power of divine peace. This warmth you feel is divine love. Your heavenly Father holding you close and refusing to let go, no matter how fierce the night, no matter how violent the storm, no matter how difficult the circumstances. In divine arms, you find perfect safety, complete protection, absolute security. Release your burdens one by one into divine hands that are strong enough to carry every weight, wise enough to handle every problem, loving enough to care for every concern. Let go of the exhausting need to control outcomes that are beyond your human ability to manage or direct. Release the pressure to solve everything at once with your limited understanding and finite resources. Trust that a tapestry far more beautiful than your mind can conceive is being woven by divine hands, even through the threads of fear and uncertainty that seem so dark and troubling to you now. Every trial you face is an opportunity to witness divine faithfulness anew, to discover new depths of divine love, to experience new dimensions of divine power working in your life. Divine presence is actively working in your circumstances, orchestrating a magnificent symphony where even the dissonant notes of difficulty serve the greater good of your soul's transformation and growth. Courage grows through reliance on divine love rather than dependence on your own strength. And with each surrender of control, your heart expands to receive more of divine perfect peace that passes all understanding. This peace is not dependent on circumstances being favorable, but flows from the unshakable foundation of divine character and divine promises, the hidden light that overcomes darkness. Consider the night sky in all its magnificent mystery. It is often darkest just before the dawn breaks across the horizon in brilliant splendor. The stars may seem hidden behind heavy clouds that block your view, but their light remains steadfast and true, illuminating the heavens with eternal fire, even when your eyes cannot see their radiance through temporary obstacles. Your heart, like those hidden stars burning in distant space, holds within it a place of divine light that doubt cannot extinguish and fear cannot overshadow. This light burns with the fire of divine presence, glows with the warmth of divine love, shines with the brightness of divine purpose planted deep within your soul. This inner light has been placed there by divine hands, a sacred spark of divine presence and power that connects you eternally to the source of all light, all love, all life. It is the same essence that created the universe, that breathed life into your very soul, that sustains every heartbeat and every breath you take. When anxiety threatens to engulf you like a tsunami of overwhelming emotion, when fear tries to drown you in its dark waters, look within to find that eternal spark of divine light. It is always there, always burning, always ready to illuminate the darkness and guide you safely through every storm. This light is your lifeline to hope, your connection to divine love, your anchor in divine truth. It tethers you to courage and strength amidst the darkest circumstances, connects you to peace and joy even in the midst of chaos, links you to divine wisdom when human understanding fails. The patient journey through spiritual transformation. Do not rush the process of overcoming fear and anxiety. This journey through doubt and uncertainty is often slow and winding like a river that meanders through valleys before reaching the sea. But every step is worthwhile. Every lesson is valuable. Every experience is part of your spiritual education and growth. Divine love is patient with your progress, never demanding that you move faster than you are able, never criticizing your pace, never expressing frustration with your struggles. Divine persistence ensures that divine love will never abandon you in your vulnerability, never give up on you in your weakness, never lose faith in your potential for growth and transformation. Trust that silent, powerful work is happening within your spirit. Work that cannot be seen with physical eyes, but is as real as the air you breathe. Divine love is weaving healing and peace into the very fabric of your being, mending torn places, strengthening weak areas, beautifying damaged regions of your heart and mind. Your destination is not merely the end of anxiety or the absence of fear, but the deeper discovery of divine, unwavering faithfulness that becomes the bedrock of your existence. This discovery will serve you throughout your life, providing unshakable foundation for every future challenge, reliable source of strength for every future struggle. Even when your soul feels like a battlefield of insecurities, where different emotions and thoughts war against each other, you are never beyond the reach of divine, steadfast love. This love is longer than any distance, stronger than any opposition, more persistent than any resistance you might offer. Your true identity beyond temporary emotions. Your fears do not define who you are. They are temporary visitors, not permanent residents of your heart. Your anxiety does not dictate your future. It is a passing storm, not your lasting climate. Your doubts do not diminish the truth of who you are in divine love. They are momentary shadows, not your eternal reality. You are a beloved child of divine love, created for joy that bubbles up from deep springs within, destined for peace that flows like a gentle river through your soul, designed for hope that rises like the dawn no matter how dark the night has been. Divine Spirit shields you from spiritual attacks and upholds you when physical strength fails. Divine Heart beats with infinite patience for your complete healing, never growing weary of your need, never becoming frustrated with your struggles, never losing hope in your potential for wholeness. Will you allow divine love to be the calm in your chaos? Will you quietly deliver your worries into divine hands that are infinitely more capable than yours? Will you open your heart wide to receive the peace that surpasses all understanding, that transcends human logic, that provides supernatural comfort in supernatural ways? If your soul feels torn between fear and faith, pulled in different directions by conflicting emotions, know that this tension is fertile ground for spiritual growth. In this uncomfortable place between what you feel and what you know to be true, divine grace does its most transformative work. You are being invited to lay down your burdens like heavy stones that have been weighing you down, and rest in the truth that divine love is greater than any fear you will ever face. Trust is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to walk forward despite the fear, hand in hand with divine love that never lets go, the steady anchor in life's turbulent storms. When you feel like you are struggling alone in life's fierce storms, when waves of trouble crash over you and winds of adversity threaten to knock you down, remember that divine presence stands more constant than the air you breathe, more reliable than the ground beneath your feet. Divine love is beside you, even when dark clouds of circumstance block your spiritual vision. Even when your soul trembles in uncertainty about the future, even when you cannot sense divine presence through your natural senses. The absence of feeling is not the absence of divine love. Divine presence transcends human emotion and remains constant regardless of your ability to perceive it. Fear is natural for human beings living in an uncertain world. It speaks to the vulnerability that is part of your human design. But fear is not meant to be your master, controlling your decisions and limiting your potential. Instead, fear can serve as a messenger, calling you to lean into a higher refuge, a stronger tower, a more reliable source of security than anything this world can offer. Anxiety often focuses on the unknown future, conjuring images of worst-case scenarios and endless troubles that may never actually occur. Doubt, like a thief in the night, steals peace before dawn can break, robs joy before blessings can be recognized, destroys hope before miracles can manifest. Yet divine love serves as the steady rock under shifting tides of circumstance, the unchanging foundation when everything else seems to be moving, the light in the thickest fog of confusion. The promise is not that your path will always be clear or free from challenge. The promise is that divine presence walks with you every step of the way, the river of divine trust and courage. You do not have to fight this battle against fear and anxiety alone or in the silence of isolation. Imagine a wide river that seems too vast, too deep, too swift to cross safely. You stand on the brink, heart pounding with hesitation and fear, uncertain about your ability to reach the other side. You look downstream and see uncertain currents that could carry you away, wild bends that hide unknown dangers, unseen depths that could swallow you completely. The crossing appears impossible from your limited human perspective, too risky to attempt with your finite strength and wisdom. But divine love reaches across that intimidating river to you with hands that are infinitely strong and endlessly gentle. No matter how fierce the water looks from where you stand, no matter how impossible the crossing appears to your natural mind, divine grasp is firm and reliable, completely capable of bringing you safely to the other side. Divine love invites you to surrender the self-made oars of worry and control that have only exhausted you without bringing you closer to safety. You are invited to step into divine strength instead of struggling in your own power, to trust divine wisdom instead of relying on your limited understanding. The crossing may not always be easy or comfortable. Sometimes your feet may slip beneath you. Sometimes you may feel overwhelmed by the current. Sometimes you may question whether you will make it to the other side. But divine love will never let you be overwhelmed beyond your ability to endure. Never allow you to be submerged beneath circumstances you cannot survive. The fortress of divine protection. Divine love is the refuge that no storm can destroy, no enemy can penetrate, no circumstances can overwhelm. This refuge is not a temporary shelter, but an eternal fortress, not a fragile hideaway, but an impregnable stronghold that has never been successfully attacked by any force in heaven or earth. Divine love does not criticize your fear or belittle your anxiety as weakness or failure. Instead, divine presence meets you here in your fragility with infinite compassion and perfect understanding, recognizing that your feelings are valid responses to living in a broken world filled with genuine challenges and real uncertainties. Your emotions are not a sign of spiritual weakness, but evidence of a heart that still yearns for peace and security, still hopes for better days, still believes that love is possible even in a world that often seems loveless. That yearning is a sacred invitation for divine love to work within you, transforming your trembling into steadiness, your unrest into rest, your fear into faith. Let divine love teach you to breathe in the calm of divine presence, like fresh air that refreshes your spirit. Allow divine peace to quiet the noise of your racing mind with the stillness of divine spirit that brings order to chaos, meaning to confusion, hope to despair. Will you allow divine love to be your sanctuary when the shadows gather around you like threatening enemies? Will you seek refuge, not in the shifting sands of human circumstances, but in the eternal foundation of divine character that never changes, never fails, never disappoints? The eternal light within your spirit. Consider again the mystery and beauty of the night sky. Often it appears darkest just before the dawn begins to paint the eastern horizon with streaks of gold and crimson. The stars may seem hidden behind heavy clouds that block your view, but their light remains steadfast and true, illuminating the cosmic vastness with fires that have burned for millions of years. Your heart, like those ancient stars burning in distant space, holds within it a place of divine light that doubt cannot extinguish and fear cannot overshadow. Anxiety cannot dim and despair cannot snuff out. This light burns with eternal fire, glows with divine presence, shines with heavenly purpose. Divine hands have planted that light there as a permanent gift, an eternal inheritance, an unremovable blessing. A divine spark of divine presence and power that connects you to the source of all creation. It is the same essence that made you in divine image, that breathed eternal life into your mortal soul, that marked you as divine child with divine destiny. That light within you is your lifeline to divine throne, your connection to divine heart, your anchor in divine truth. It tethers you to hope and courage amidst the darkest circumstances, links you to peace and joy even when external conditions are chaotic, connects you to divine wisdom when human understanding reaches its limits. This inner light is not dependent on your performance, your circumstances, your feelings, or your understanding. It burns steadily regardless of external storms, shines brightly regardless of internal struggles, glows warmly regardless of seasonal changes in your spiritual journey, the divine invitation to perfect peace. If your soul feels torn between fear and faith, stretched between worry and trust, pulled between anxiety and peace, know that this tension is not permanent, but temporary, not your destination, but part of your journey toward spiritual maturity and divine intimacy. This tension creates fertile ground for spiritual growth, where divine grace does its most transformative work. In this uncomfortable space between what you feel and what you know to be true, between what you see and what divine love promises, miraculous transformation takes place that cannot happen any other way. You are being lovingly invited to lay down your burdens like heavy stones that have been weighing down your spirit, crushing your joy, stealing your peace. These burdens were never meant for you to carry alone. They are too heavy for human shoulders, too complex for human minds, too overwhelming for human hearts. Rest in the liberating truth that divine love is infinitely greater than any fear you will ever face, more powerful than any anxiety you will ever experience, stronger than any doubt you will ever entertain. This love has already overcome every obstacle, defeated every enemy, solved every problem that could ever threaten your ultimate wholeness and eternal destiny. Trust is not the absence of fear. It is the courageous choice to walk forward despite the fear, hand in hand with divine love that never lets go, never gives up, never loses faith in your potential for victory and transformation. When anxious thoughts arise like unwelcome visitors in your mind, bring them immediately to divine presence with openness and honesty, holding nothing back, hiding nothing in shame. Divine love is not distant or impatient with your struggles, but serves as the gentle shepherd who leads you beside quiet waters of peace and restores your soul with loving care. The dawn of divine victory. The journey of conquering fear begins not with avoidance or denial, but with courage to face your fears in the light of divine truth. Divine love is the source of true courage that will sustain you through every storm, carry you over every obstacle, guide you around every pitfall on your path to victory. Let this be the day you choose to trust divine love fully and completely, holding nothing back, reserving no areas of doubt or fear for yourself to manage alone. Choose to walk in divine light, even when the path seems shadowed by uncertainty, even when you cannot see very far ahead, even when the way forward is unclear. Remember with absolute certainty that even the most fearsome night is inevitably broken by the rising sun that cannot be stopped by any power in earth or heaven. Divine love is your dawn, your hope, your unshakable strength beneath your weary feet when you feel too tired to take another step. You are not created to live in fear like a prisoner in a dark cell, but to thrive in the confidence of divine love and power like a beloved child in a secure home. You were designed for victory, destined for triumph, created for overcoming every obstacle through divine strength working within you. Reach out with your fragile, trembling hand and take the strong, steady hand of divine love that is always extended toward you. Step forward into your glorious future with confidence, knowing that divine presence walks with you, divine power works through you, divine wisdom guides you. Your future is brilliantly bright, because divine love is with you every step of the way. The fears that have held you captive for so long can no longer chain you to limitation and defeat. Divine love is infinitely stronger than any fear, more powerful than any anxiety, greater than any doubt that has ever troubled your heart. The sanctuary of belonging in divine love. When you feel like a fragile reed bowed by relentless winds of adversity, swaying without direction under the pressure of life's storms, remember that divine love is the unyielding root system, unseen beneath the soil of your circumstances, anchoring you firmly amidst every tempest, every twisting gale of doubt and despair. This feeling of abandonment that sometimes overwhelms your heart is no stranger to divine understanding. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars blaze with ancient fire and galaxies spiral in magnificent dance, divine love has traced every tear that has ever fallen from your eyes and heard every sigh that has ever slipped from your lips, even when you thought no one was watching. even when you felt completely alone. This sense of invisibility you sometimes endure, this feeling of being overlooked and forgotten, is not a reflection of your true worth or actual significance. It is simply a temporary veil obscuring the full tapestry that divine love is weaving with your life. A passing cloud blocking your view of your true place in the eternal scheme of divine purpose. Imagine a master weaver at work, skilled hands guiding precious threads through an intricate pattern with delicate care and perfect precision. Sometimes those threads pass under others, hidden temporarily beneath the surface of the emerging design, invisible for a season but absolutely essential to the final masterpiece. So it is in moments like these, when your significance feels eclipsed by others, when your presence seems unnoticed by the world's distracted eyes, when your contributions appear unappreciated by those around you. But divine love is always watching the work of divine hands in you, always appreciating the unique beauty you bring to creation's tapestry. The whisper in the silence. Let not your heart be consumed by the painful illusion of being alone in your struggles. Divine love is the whisper in the quiet moments, the breath that stirs the restless night when sleep seems impossible, the warmth that sustains you through the coldest dawn when hope seems frozen. Divine love intimately knows the ache of loneliness, the poignant void when human connection falters and relationships disappoint. When words of affirmation fade into bitter echoes of empty promises, when familiar faces turn away like shadows retreating before the sun, you wonder with aching heart, am I forgotten? Do I matter to anyone? But forgetfulness is not part of divine nature. The one who flung countless stars into their celestial orbits does not misplace any creation, certainly not you who are crowned with divine image and destined for eternal glory. Just as the earth does not lose sight of the seed beneath its surface, neither has divine love lost sight of you during seasons when you feel buried by circumstances. Still, divine love asks you now, with infinite patience and tender concern, will you allow divine hands to unearth you from this place of despair? Will you believe that in the silence where you feel most unseen, you are actually most intimately known by the heart that created you? When you feel abandoned and forgotten, when your soul feels like an empty well thirsting desperately for recognition and appreciation, hear divine voice beckoning you closer with words of life and hope. Divine love has always been moving behind the scenes of your life, orchestrating divine appointments, facilitating healing encounters, whispering truths that only your heart can truly hear and understand. The fertile soil of quiet seasons. The quiet stretches of your life are not empty wastelands of meaningless existence. They are fertile soil prepared for new growth, precious moments designed to anchor your heart deeper in divine love, where no human neglect can reach, where no earthly disappointment can destroy your foundation. Divine love is the hidden manna nourishing your spirit in ways you cannot see, the gentle rain falling softly in the desert places of your soul, bringing life where everything seemed dry and barren. Yield to the tender embrace of divine presence that surrounds you like the very atmosphere you breathe. Let your weary heart rest in the liberating knowledge that you were never, not even for a single instant, alone in your journey. Even when you could not sense divine presence, even when divine voice seemed silent, even when divine love felt distant, you were being carried in divine arms like a sleeping child, secure in parental love. Divine love understands the questions wrestling within your troubled heart. Why am I here? Do I matter? Does my life have any real significance in this vast universe? Your existence is no accident, no mere flicker in the vast night of eternity. You are a carefully crafted masterpiece, each fragment of your story significant in divine eyes. Every breath you take is charged with divine intention. Every day you live is filled with divine purpose. Every struggle you face is part of a larger divine plan that will one day be revealed in all its beauty and meaning. Your challenges do not diminish your value, but amplify it. Like pressure that transforms coal into precious diamonds. The radiance of divine recognition. When you feel unseen by the world around you, let this truth rise up within your spirit like dawn breaking over distant mountains. You are fully visible to divine love, radiant with divine glory, treasured beyond human measure or understanding. Even when your voice trembles in solitude with words no one else seems to hear, divine love hears every unspoken cry of your heart, every silent plea for help, every whispered prayer for hope. Even when your spirit falters in darkness that seems impenetrable, divine love shines light that no shadow can overcome, no darkness can extinguish. Yet divine love asks you to take one step further into faith and hope. Engage this precious moment with a courageous heart that chooses trust over fear, hope over despair, love over isolation. Reach for divine presence with expectation rather than resignation, with confidence rather than doubt. When the suffocating weight of isolation threatens to drown your spirit in despair, speak divine name aloud with whatever strength you can muster. Breathe in divine peace that surpasses understanding, and trust that divine love is forming a new song within you. A melody of belonging and divine affirmation that no earthly ear can claim, no human voice can silence. Will you meet divine love in your quiet room where tears have been shed and prayers have been whispered? Will you open your days to divine presence that waits patiently for your invitation? Rest assured that in loving divine company, the ache of being lost or abandoned will be replaced by a profound sense of home that no earthly dwelling can provide. This is not merely a future promise hanging in distant tomorrow. It is a present reality that divine love offers freely right now, a sanctuary where your weary soul can find rest, peace, purpose, and unshakable belonging. The lighthouse of divine purpose. So, beloved child of divine love, move beyond the pain that screams of invisibility and insignificance. In divine eyes, your brilliance is blinding, your beauty is breathtaking, your value is immeasurable. You are a beacon of hope, a lighthouse standing resolute in life's storms, not because of your own strength, but because you are upheld by divine everlasting hands that never grow tired, never let go, never lose their grip. Let this contemplation guide your footsteps today and every day forward. Even when you feel forsaken by human love, you are forever cradled in divine arms that will never release you, never abandon you, never stop loving you with perfect, unchanging love. Do not turn away from this life-giving truth, but let it sink deep into your soul like water into thirsty ground, inflaming your spirit with hope that cannot be disappointed and peace that cannot be disturbed. Allow divine presence to illuminate the darkest corners of your heart with light that reveals your true worth, your eternal significance, your unshakable place in divine heart. When you are ready, step forward in the absolute certainty that you possess an eternal, unshakable belonging found only in divine love. A belonging that no human rejection can revoke, no earthly disappointment can diminish, no temporal circumstance can threaten.